Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having an amazing day. Honored to be connecting in with you. Today, we're going to be talking about leading and lifting others and helping them shine. I know during the summer months, we've been talking a lot about taking center stage and how do we do that? And I want us to continue to do that. But just remembering the stage is big enough for lots of people to shine. We can all have a spotlight on each and every one of us, and we can come forward, stand in our space powerfully, and lead and lift others up, and then also help them lead and lift others up and shine out. It's a ongoing opportunity we have to bring light throughout the world and throughout the universe, even as we each step into that center stage and really owning our gifts and our power. Oh, I know you're going to love our amazing guest today, her heart, her passion for all that she does and brings forward. And we're going to touch on just little pieces of it, but I promise we'll let you know how you're able to go deeper and learn even more beyond our conversation today. And as we come together, I want you to take a moment and just check in. In fact, let's just slow down a little bit. We get so busy, we fill our schedule so full, especially in the summer months. It's a different rhythm, fitting all this stuff in. So let's take a moment. This is really a time for you. Take a deep breath in through the nose, all the way to your toes. You can even wiggle them. Make sure air's getting in. Beautiful. And then out through your mouth, like through a straw. I'm reminded of our last week's show where we had an amazing guest who even walked us through a powerful breathing practice to help us really breathe in deeply from the diaphragm to help us bring the oxygen in deeply. So as we again take another deep breath in through the nose, using that diaphragm, all the way to your toes, and then breathe out like through a straw. When we take a moment to pause, to breathe, to really be present, our stress levels instantly drop down, our cortisol levels. We become more present. We're bringing in that beautiful, rich air, which is an oxygen that is so supportive. As we breathe out, we can release all that no longer serves, just letting it blow out, giving us room and space for more. So as you're enjoying this breathing moment, I invite you to close your eyes just to remove any distractions, really become centered and close, to you. We get so busy looking out. Let's take a moment to look inward. And I invite you to put both hands on your heart and just notice as you're continuing to breathe the beat of your heart. Then notice that pause in between each beat. And what is the message that is coming to you from that little pause? We're so busy sometimes we don't hear it. So each pause, what is the message coming forward for you? What is it that you need? What is it that will encourage and empower you, or you're being reminded of today? As we think about leading, lifting others, stepping into that center stage, what is it that you need? That you are willing to receive, because you absolutely have choice. So what is it that you need, are being reminded of, and are willing to receive? Beautiful. Take in that beautiful information. Let's take another breath. Open your eyes, fully present, back in the room. Beautiful. And take a moment and write down what was laid on your heart, what it is that you need and are willing to receive, or that reminder that was bubbling up. As you link in and really sink into this time together carved out for you. Really listen to your heart is going to be so supportive. In fact, throughout this show, I encourage you to take notes. So write down that message you received and what it is that you need, and then be listening for those things that touch your heart, that pull you forward, create an aha moment. There's an action you want to take. Write those things down throughout our show and be listening for them. And we'll give you times throughout the show, pauses, that you're able to stop and really breathe in what serves, integrate it real time, and breathe out what no longer serves. So enjoy the show. I'm just thrilled to have each and every one of you joining us. And I wanted to bring Rachel on, our amazing guest, for a moment in this time of connecting in the heart, just to see what was laid on her heart as we begin our conversation together. Rachel, I'd love to know what was laid on your heart.
Hello, Rebecca and audience. Yes, it's just the value of being present and having authentic relationships that help lead others, lift others, and then create a legacy that can extend beyond ourselves, but into the world and make a global impact. And I think that's where my heart was this morning.
Beautiful. I love that. And it really struck me the word authentic that you shared. There's these real authentic connections. And I think many of us are hungry for that and calling for that forward. So I just love that you've tapped into that and that ties into the connections and all that we can build to have that global connection and impact and beyond. I think we can have universal impact, global and more. So I'm excited to see that come forward. And when they're so powerfully rooted in authentic connection, it's real and you can trust that and you can build from that. So I appreciate you bringing that into our conversation today.
Of course, of course.
Beautiful. And listeners, as we paused and felt in, I'm so curious what was laid on your heart. I know I was reminded last night we had a vet emergency and everything is okay. But while we were there were all these new kittens that had been rescued as well and had an opportunity to just be present and share calming energy and bring support to all involved. And it just reminded me that everywhere we go in our daily life, we have these opportunities to really be present, connect in, and kind of serve in that space. It's not just on stage or on shows or in these special moments. I feel like it's in our daily lives. We have those opportunities to really bring our gifts and our heart to how we are reaching out, how we are showing up. That's what really popped into my heart and spirit as we were connecting in. So, listeners, as we go to this first commercial break, it's an opportunity for you to think about what Rachel has shared, what I have shared, what is coming to your heart and spirit, and have an opportunity to really sink in and hear those messages. We will continue our conversation in just 2 minutes. Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed those 2 minutes. This opportunity to just pause in the busyness of our lives and really listen, really be present, really be open to being poured into. We're just so honored that you're here spending this time with us today, that we have an opportunity to pour into you, that you get to just be open and receive and be present with what is being brought forward. You got to meet our amazing guest in the opening segment, Rachel, and I wanted to take a moment and just share a little bit more about her. You've met her on a heart level, and sometimes it's nice to know someone's credentials and background just to have perspective from where their information expertise is coming from. So you can see her expanded bio. You'll see that in the materials we're sharing out around the show and on our host page. But I wanted to give you a snapshot. So Rachel is an entrepreneur, #1 international best-selling author, multiple books, a consultant, speaker, and founder of Team of Seven Consulting, where she helps transform projects and educational programs through strategy, insight, and heart. She is passionate about helping you step forward in thriving, powerful ways to shine in all that you do. Please lean in. Warmly welcome the powerful, dynamic, and heart centered Rachel Rubin Wilkins. Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Rebecca. That was a wonderful introduction. I appreciate you.
Well, you are so welcome, and we are thrilled to have you. I hope you felt my hands up, raising, and just welcoming you to our virtual stage here as we connect in. And I wanted to start our conversation with, why is mentoring and leadership and lifting others up, why is that work personally so important to you?
Yes, that is my passion. It is a very strong passion project. Most of my career has been centered around leadership development, and the passion has really emerged that I'm sharing openly more on higher levels. And it's in the value and the power of mentorship, authentic relationships. And that mentorship can also be coaching, advising, ways in which you're helping others live in their gifts and get to their best, most powerful self. And it started, gosh, when I was younger. I've had a lot of family members lean in and some advisory roles, educational roles. And then in high school through teachers and coaches. And it just can really help you get to the next level. You really don't know the power that you have and how you can empower others by just being kind or helping them live in their gifts.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that, being that kind and being in our gifts. And I don't know that that's always emphasized or underlined enough. So I love that the kindness really does matter and that we can be authentic. So having trusted relationships, I feel like, really starts with that authenticity. And I'm curious about, you were sharing this long history of leadership kind of coming forward and being part of your gifting. Was there a light bulb moment, and you started to weave passion into it, more and more passion projects and authenticity? Was there a light bulb moment that all of this kind of came together, and you decided, this is where I'm called to do more and stand in leadership in this way?
Yes, I think it was a flicker for a long time. It's
Mhm.
been a part of me to receive mentorship and then also pass that mentorship on to others through education, through tutoring, through the various jobs that I've had. And I've been caught two times in which that light bulb moment really came on. And one of
Mhm.
them was based out of real necessity. As a Army Ranger military spouse, I do not feel I could have made it so successfully raising five children without the mentorship and advice and counsel of the women ahead of me who had already walked that path.
Mm.
those women donate, they could have withheld information and watched people flounder, but they didn't. They cared enough to make sure that those women were moving forward. And my role then was to pass that torch on to others. I felt obligated, blessed, and thankful to be able to have received those gifts from other women. And I just wanted to turn around and do the same.
Mm. That is so beautiful, and I'm just picturing that, and you know, five children, just all that you have navigated there, and that there was such a caring community that came together to lend a hand, to share advice, to come alongside you and help lift you up. And now you are leaning in to do the same. And you're doing this in so many areas of life. And I'd love for you to share a little bit of some of the ways and areas that you are passing this gift forward in really helping and mentoring and sharing wisdom, sharing advice, helping give people a path forward that they can take.
Yes, yes. As an educator as well, as a consultant, I
Mm-hmm.
do feel that it's empowering for me to build things that I may have a vision for. And, sometimes it's during our hardest moments that we can see the horizon and know what we need to do. And coming out of COVID, I was a recruiter. I have five children of my own,
Mm-hmm.
and I could see just a change in our community. It was had the opportunity to receive a certification in the social cognitive career theory, received that certification, and then was asked to teach the class the following fall to students. And the class was centered on really the social dynamics of education and mentoring. How do we leave an impact, help with self-efficacy and confidence through authentic relationships, through mentoring, advising, and coaching? And I saw the difference that mentoring can make firsthand coming out of COVID when students were alone, professionals were alone, people wanting to make pivots or really to start their careers. And I felt at that moment in time, I needed to start something. This was the time. And that was when I created the leadership fellows and the lead them interns and just started moving forward. I was giving workshops on mentorship and quality relationships
Mm-hmm.
and decided that maybe we needed to go a little bit broader and publish the information. And that led me to creating an anthology, to put something in writing, to put in people's hands to be a gift of inspiration through other women's stories and testimonies of quality relationships through mentorship.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And I love that you answered that call and you said yes, and you got that certification and you leaned into really coming alongside people at such a an important time in our communities and in our world, and really helping people reconnect and build each other up and move into that in powerful ways. Now, I'm excited you touched on your anthology because I want to talk about that. And before we do, I wanted to have you share just a couple examples of the difference you saw. Maybe a success story or two, or something that just really made your heart sing as you had leaned into stepping forward and helping people in that way.
Yes, I think it's a proud moment when you see opportunities for others and then they see those opportunities for themselves.
Mm,
There are so many positive stories. It's hard to pull from one, but I have a recent one that I think blossoms from the book and just this
mhm,
exposure, which is going to have a global impact. And it also, I'm very into the authentic relationships in person, but there are quality relationships you can make virtually. And I just wanted to just highlight a recent mentee. Her name is Kelsey Click. She works for Bentley Systems and is in Pennsylvania. And I met her through someone else virtually. And we just started this wonderful mentee mentor relationship. And she's in charge of the Women at Bentley program. And she will be leading a book club discussion with the Lead Lift Leave a Legacy anthology next month, where we can work with women in technology and help share some stories and shine a light on career successes. And the wonderful thing, in addition to just hitting the United States, we are globally impacting women in London, Dubai, Mumbai, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand are all the places where they have women working. And it was just a simple conversation that she and I started having, and our relationship grew. And next thing I knew, she wanted to have this be the lead book club for the fall. And I just never expected that. And I think when we have these relationships, you don't go in knowing what is going to come out. And that is what is so exciting because you build and you put your time and energy, love into these relationships and you just watch it blossom
Mm,
and sit back and then think about the impact that you can make just by being authentic and showing up.
beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Just brings a smile to my heart, to my face, and that reminder that just leaning in, having those authentic connections, showing up, sharing and supporting others just leads to amazing things that conversation by conversation, heart by heart can reach the world. I love that. Now, I do want to make sure we share a little bit about your anthology that just came out, Lead, Lift, and Leave a Legacy. And when this was released in a very um, powerful launch in a very short amount of time, it became a bestseller and then number one bestseller and then international bestseller and then number one international bestseller. It was very exciting to see and get to be part of and uh, watch that unfold. And you ended up hitting best-selling status in 6 countries, 93 categories, which is just incredible. And to me, such a testament to how powerfully your book is needed in reaching the world. And that was just the beginning. That was the initial launch. And I know it's continued to ripple out from there. So, a couple of things. I would love for you to share the full title, and I'd love for you to share what the mission is of this book as it ripples out into the world, and maybe a favorite moment in that release.
Oof, wow, favorite
I know.
moments. Wow, so many. It was such a fabulous, empowering moment. And I did not set, I think we had a strategy, right? But
Mhm.
you never know. I just said, I'm going to work really hard and we're going to see what happens when you put the time and energy in. And so it's just, we hit milestones I didn't expect to hit. I'm very grateful. And I really have to give some of that thankfulness back to the authors that invested, marketed, reached out to their friends and family members to make this a success. So you asked me to say the title. The title is Lead, Lift, and Leave a Legacy, shining a light on the remarkable journeys of women leaders and their mentors. The mission of this book really stemmed from me being that adjunct professor and watching students who had, spent thousands of dollars on their education and still didn't have a huge understanding of their career. And some of the feedback from my students, and then in addition, I had on the side a program called Leadership Fellows. Combined, those groups said they'd like to see more people living their lives professionally and personally. How did they pivot? How did they make it through difficult times? And they wanted some more examples. Sometimes when you're in school and you're taking those personality tests and you're taking these other um, tests that are supposed to align you with the top 20 jobs you're good at, those don't really identify who you are. Sometimes we have to see ourselves in others' stories. And so my goal was to reach out to as many women as possible in different categories in different industries. We had 32 women ages 20 to late 70s write in this book. They are from all different industries. We have two in finance, but different pieces of finance, which those two ladies just did an amazing program last week for women in finance. But we have women in healthcare, we have women in marketing, we have women in their 20s writing about their mentorship experiences. And so this is to give, and these are only 32 examples of different industry type careers. There are thousands of different possible stories out there. But this is really to shine a light for the reader to maybe see themselves if they want to go into STEM and go into geospatial technology, then they should read Nadine's chapter. There are women who are shining a light on how they got there, their pivots, and it's not easy. Although we stand up daily and smile and get through our lives, there are struggles, and some of those struggles are in this book.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I love what helped plant this seed in your heart and that you leaned into bringing forward. And what a gift to have these examples and stories. And I think we can even learn from different industries because that skill of pivoting and finding a way forward as we're navigating personal and professional things is so important because it's not if there's going to be a challenge someday or suddenly the rules feel like they've changed on you. It's when.
Yeah.
And really seeing examples and knowing you can and building that toolbox and skill set by learning that wisdom being passed on makes such a difference. So I'm so appreciative of what you've created and brought forward. Can't wait to see all the places it goes. We are getting ready to go to our next commercial break, but just listeners who are leaning in and very interested in getting a copy, I promise we'll let you know towards the end of the show exactly how to do that. So you can add this valuable resource to your library. So you can take a breath, relax. You will get all of that information and enjoy these next 2 minutes and really take a moment to think about what Rachel has shared, what is pouring into your heart, into your spirit. And we'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes and had an opportunity to really just sit with what's coming to your heart and to your spirit. Maybe reflect on how are you connecting with others? Are you remembering to do that? Who are some of the mentors in your life, and how are you perhaps being a mentor to others, pouring into others and encouraging others. I love the phrase that Rachel's been using about her passion project because I think sometimes we wear so many different hats, and in all those different hats, we start to get a little segmented. And we wear this hat over here, this hat over here, and somehow we don't always let it all come together, or all of who we are, those things that we are passionate about, that our heart cares so deeply about or makes our heart even sing, can sometimes not end up in all the boxes, all the containers, all the hats that
Yes,
we wear.
absolutely.
And I think it's important that we start to weave that together. It doesn't have to be so separate. We can bring more of our facets forward. And one of the things I really appreciate about you, Rachel, is that you do that. I hear so often that you're passionate about you're this, and you're bringing this forward. You're wanting to help in this way, and a passion project. So to me, you have found a way to just weave that into all that you do. And so I'm curious, as you do that and you pursue your passions as well, those things that matter to you, why is that important in how you keep yourself empowered and how you empower others? How does it connect? Why is it important?
Mm. Um, Having a passion project and having it burning inside of you is very important. But if you don't have the outlets to make it move forward, it can go from a light that's shining bright to something that's flickering. And I think what keeps it empowering is that people want more. People like what we're doing. They want to see this movement. People care about people, honestly. They really do. Humans are tribal. We need to interact. We are efficient with our gadgets, with our iPhones, with our iPads, with our computer systems, and those help us be great in our business and other things in life and problem solving. But we really need to have those relationships that keep us moving forward. So when I work with women in the book that want to create an event, and we have some things coming forward, we're moving into a programming stage where we call it She Leads, She Lifts, She Leaves a Legacy. And our Women in Finance in the book created a financial series for women. We have some coming forward in healthcare management and health and wellness. And we'll move into a co-ed space where it's for men and women, and that will be a networking and mentoring opportunity as well. So when your passion project is something that actually benefits others, that's empowering, it's inspiring, it keeps you moving. Um, it keeps you awake at night sometimes. But then if you work really hard at it, you go to sleep. So, when you're living in your dreams and you're helping others become the people that they're supposed to be, like that is very empowering to me. I just feel our world is a better place when people are working in their gifts. They are being that person that God has asked them to be and helping others. And I think we have so many ways in this world right now where things could be sad, depressing, lonely, but it doesn't have to be. So my
Mhm.
passion burns when I see other people believing in themselves, finding their self-efficacy, having the confidence to help others. To be a mentor, you do not have to be the smartest person in the room to be an advisor or a coach. And I think sometimes people shy away from mentorship because they think, oh, I'm not the subject matter expert. Oh, I'm not this person. It's really not about perfection. It is about caring enough to help someone get to that other space. And if you don't have the answer to mentor them, find that person that might have that information. Really, it's about establishing quality, authentic relationships to help other people move in a way that benefits each other and our society.
Mhm. I love it. I love it. And I can feel your passion. I can feel your enthusiasm. And one of the things that we had talked about earlier is that there are challenges that come up, or setbacks, or you even mentioned that sometimes it can feel isolating, or we can lose our zeal. and our encouragement. And I think sometimes it depends on where you focus your attention. What you allow to pour into you can affect how you feel about things. And this is something, building those authentic connections. And you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be the subject matter expert, but you have to care and be willing to pour into others and just
Yeah.
continue to lift them up as well. So as I'm soaking all of that wisdom in, all of your perspective in, and your enthusiasm in particular, how do you keep that enthusiasm going and positive? And hopefully, the staying up at night sometimes is because of excitement, not stress.
Sometimes it's both.
But
Let's
how
be
do you
real.
yeah, yeah, we have both, but how do you keep that moving forward powerfully, even when there are challenges and setbacks and some of those things that we have to navigate in life?
Yes, that's a great question because we all need wellness, right? Um, and well, supporting yourself with good people, you need at least 5 to 7 current active mentors or friendtors. We came up with that coined term. One of my authors came up with that in one of our sessions, and friendtors is a great thing. But just having great people around you to lift you up. I have some core women who are really on my board of advisors that help me stay focused. But I also need downtime. I need my alone time. I need to go for a walk or a run. So getting outside in the great outdoors, getting away from everything and just having some time to think. Maybe it's on a podcast. Maybe it's just simply enjoying nature as you're walking. So getting outside, getting some physical, like the breathing tactics that you had in the beginning, so much of our stress is related to our wellness and how calm we are. And so when you go outside and release your energy, you can ground yourself. And then I cannot not speak about my faith, and that always keeps me grounded. So just recently rejoined a Bible study group.
Mhm.
And that has been very powerful and enlightening to help me just weed through some of the things that, aren't necessarily important aspects of life that may hinder my progress moving forward. And I think, in my chapter in the book, my title is Run Your Race. And in Hebrews 12:1, it says, "Let us run with perseverance the race that is set before us."
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And I think those are some really great tips. And as you're saying the term ground, I was just thinking, and I use that phrase a lot as well, like ground yourself in the truth and your roots grow deep. For anyone who that's terminology that maybe you haven't heard as much, or grounding maybe has a negative connotation, like you're being grounded. That we're really talking about really being rooted in those things that matter most. So when wind comes or storms come, you're grounded, your roots are deep and stable, and you're really able to be clear on who you are and what you're about and what you're bringing forward. And there's a peacefulness and a centeredness and a calmness that comes with that. So this is the good way of saying grounded, being
Yes,
grounded. Wings are still there. You still get to soar. All of that
yes.
is great. But just for anyone who's hearing that term and it might be new to you, I wanted you to know from where we're speaking. And Rachel, if you want to add anything to that, I'd love for you to share.
Yes, well, when we talk about nature, they do talk about, and this is the naturalist in me some ways, but
Mhm.
they talk about literally grounding with the earth and pulling that energy that comes out of the ground, sitting in the grass. Those things can actually help your body synthesize stress. And so there's some information on that. I'm not a subject matter expert there, but that's part of the grounding as well. But just coming back to your roots, like, right?
Mhm.
So a tall oak tree has a lot of deep roots. So, understanding how to ground yourself, extend your roots so that you can be that strong structure. So when the rain and the wind and the storms come, you can stand the test of time and be a great example for others to just keep rooting yourself in your
Hmm.
beliefs. I do need to pull in my family in
Hmm.
this because
Sure.
my core family, my husband and my five children, they are also my why I think it's important to leave a legacy. Like as a parent and as people in this world, there are younger people coming, right? And they're going to have to lead when we're not here. So, how are we positioning ourselves as that mighty oak to help that next legacy? What are we leaving for them, and how are we helping them to leave their ultimate legacy as well?
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I love that. And I was even thinking as you were sharing about the oak, and I was picturing the mighty oak and how powerful and tall it is that when those storms come, please note, listeners, we're not saying if, when, when those storms come, because you might be in a storm right now, or you just came through a storm, or you're hoping there's not another one coming. But we are all dealing with storms. But when your roots are deep like that, not only are you able to withstand the storm, but it can actually strengthen you.
Hmm.
As the wind blows, you build more muscles and you become stronger. And that rain that comes down can actually nurture those roots because they're deep instead of getting washed away. So there's so much that a storm can actually be for you as well when those roots are deep. And that just really was reflecting in my heart as you were sharing and describing. And I love that you are bringing your family in and leaving a legacy, giving people that opportunity to grow and continue bringing forward those things that matter most. So I love that. Now, the other thing I've heard you talk about in our conversation today has to do with the passions. We've talked about enthusiasm and passion. So I'm wondering, sometimes I talk with people and they don't know what they're passionate about anymore. They just wear so many hats, do so many different things. They're amazing at what they do and they're so in it. They don't always know or even know where to figure out what they're passionate about or they love doing or what does nourish and feed them. What are some ways they can start to figure that out?
I can totally relate to that because I have so many things that I love doing. And I think, well, if I lean in on this, then I can't do this. And if I lean in on that, then I can't do that. And really, it was about saying yes to a couple opportunities and being curious to dive a little deeper. When we lifted Lead, Lift, and Leave a Legacy, I had to leave some things that are passion projects in the back seat, right? And then at that point, I say, okay, I don't think I can handle doing all of this. I'm lifting a brand new business, which is my, you know, or the, as a former Army spouse, the beans and the bullets of the operation, right? That gets the
Mhm.
work done, it pays the salary. But then I have this passion project, right? And I want to do these two things. I can't do it all. So how can I do these top three things? And really, I just leaned in and thought about what if, and then just said yes. There's power in just saying yes. But when you say yes, you need to sit back and analyze, do I have time in my day to make all these things work well? What things can I just put back in my bucket list and pull them out later after I accomplish these three things and do them well?
I love that. Really important because I think we're so good at just saying yes, 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 and then stuff starts falling off the plate and we get stressed and we're not showing up the way we want to show up in things. So I love that we can take some of those off, put them back to the bucket list, or they can be a later, not a someday, but a later that you're
Right.
going to be.
It's a temporary hold. And I
Yeah.
found, like, as a military spouse, I put so much of my life on pause and I said, oh, or pause, I would like to do this. I'm just going to wait till the time is right.
Hmm.
Certain times you're going to know when I took the certification class, then taught the class, then started doing workshops, then worked with students. And I said, I need a leadership mission. Everything just started falling into place. There are other things I have that I want to do, but I'm not going to be able to do those right now because I'm very focused on this particular mentoring mission. And that's okay. Maybe this will get to a level where it's, moving forward on its own, and then I can pick up those other things. Or maybe those things were just temporary projects that maybe I hand off to someone else and watch help them grow that gift.
Beautiful. And I love this temporary hold. What a beautiful, beautiful concept. Temporary hold. And then you can revisit. Oh, let me revisit my temporary hold list and
Yes.
see, is that something that
Yeah.
I can pull off the list or share or beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And I love what you've created with this anthology, that it's this living, breathing collection and group of leaders. So, yes, the book and the content is amazing and transformational, and I encourage everybody to get a copy. But I also love what is being created from that, the ripple effect and the programs and the additional resources and the ongoing impact people in the book are having on so many people's lives. So that's just exciting to see. I celebrate that.
Mhm.
We are getting ready to go to our next commercial break. And as we do so, listeners, I want you to think about all of what Rachel has shared and what is coming to your heart. And maybe spend these 2 minutes making that list of all the things you want to do and
Mhm.
see what you want to put on the temporary hold, what you're like, this is the thing I'm going to take steps today to bring forward. And we'll
Mm.
continue our conversation in just 2 minutes. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes and you've got a start on your list. And I love this concept of a temporary hold and knowing it's not forever and it's not the someday maybe it'll happen list, but this is temporary hold and the hold is just temporary. You get to bring it forward or find a way to bring it forward. But that way, you're not trying to do everything at one time. You're being strategic about the things you're focused on to bring forward. Then, as those come forward, you can look at your temporary hold list. I love that. And that will help us keep energized. I don't want anyone burned out. Energized, focused, grounded as we are all stepping forward to lead and lift others up too and share our light and help people share theirs. So it's just been such a privilege and honor to have you on our show today, Rachel, and to share your wisdom and your insights. We're very grateful. And I wanted to give you a moment to share, because I know you have so many things that you build and bring forward, that you could share with our listeners just a quick touch on a few of those things that they can be watching for and looking to perhaps even get involved in.
Sure, sure. There are some things. They're not temporary hold, they're in progress, but I can't release all the information, so they will be coming shortly. But we are lifting the She Leads, She Lifts, She Leaves a Legacy series that will be in part sponsored by the authors that want to shine a light on their industry. So we just had one on finance. We will have two more on finance in October, on October 2nd and on December 4th. And then in August, we're kicking off our wellness with Lauren Pronger at Lifetime Fitness at Frontenac. We will be doing a matcha chat, a fireside chat with Lauren and I discussing um, uh, the launch of her Super Well book that's coming and some other information. And there'll be some more things coming. We should have an event in September that's all inclusive, centered around Lead Them. So it'll be men and women because we need our men. They are awesome mentors and wonderful collaborators in our life. And those are some of the things I'm looking for right now. And there'll be more to be announced as I start moving my marketing message forward.
Beautiful, beautiful. And if you could share where we can get, so the full title of your book again, the anthology that you recently released, where we can get a copy, because I promised our listeners I would tell them where. So if we could do that, I want to honor that promise,
Absolutely.
that would be great.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's called Lead, Lift, and Leave a Legacy. And the subtitle is Shining a Light on the Remarkable Journeys of Women Leaders and Their Mentors. You can visit Amazon and search Rachel Rubin Wilkins or the title of the book. You can find it in hardback, softback, and the Kindle version.
Perfect, perfect. So right on Amazon, we can go in and get a copy, and it ships quickly, which is fabulous to get that into your library right away. Or if you like digital, it's almost instant that you'll get a
Yeah.
copy. And then, what is the best way if people want to connect with you, go deeper, follow some of these things that you have shared and soon will be sharing? What's the best way for people to do that?
Yes, right now, my main, most professional form of marketing is through my LinkedIn account. So you can reach out to me at Rachel Rubin Wilkins, and on my LinkedIn, just send me a message and we can connect. I do most of my business there. I've recruited over 400 professionals and students for job placement. I highly value my LinkedIn. You can also reach out at teamofseven.com, and that is where I run my consulting business. I have helped others through coaching and goal setting. I do work with others in that space if you're interested, or if you need some strategic event management um, support.
Perfect. And is it team of seven? Is it the number seven or is it written out?
Ooh, spelled out, seven.com.
Perfect. So make sure everybody finds it.
That's a great
Perfect.
point. I forget about that. So,
Perfect.
yes.
Perfect. So team of seven written out .com is where they can learn more and connect in. Well, thank you so much for your time today and congratulations on the huge success of your powerful anthology and all the ripples it's creating. I just love hearing that and all the hearts and lives that are getting touched and supported as it ripples out into the world. And listeners, I want to thank you for leaning in, and I encourage you to take some time at the end of the show. I always encourage you to do this. The day doesn't get to be in charge, you get to be in charge. So
Mhm.
give yourself a couple moments, and maybe it is to practice that grounding, really picturing yourself as that beautiful, powerful oak with those deep roots. And from that place, then you choose how you want to navigate forward, what you're going to do next, what you're pulling off the pending list, the temporary hold. What are you bringing forward to really bring all of your gifts and talents to the world? So, what are those things, next steps that you want to start taking today? So, give yourself these 2 moments, really sink into that, and really choose how you are going to show up. And I encourage you, whatever you do, however you step forward, really make that choice to bloom where you're planted, growing those roots deep and shine. Share out the gift of who you are.
That is a military expression we use a lot. It's ironic that you bring that up. Um, I just want
Beautiful.
to leave the audience with one last thing, and just don't forget the power of mentorship in your own family. Show up for your family, family members, your children. You are their first mentor, and your value and message is extremely important.
Beautiful. Thank you. So, listeners, as you take those messages forward out into the world, really choose the way that you are going to step forward. Give the gift of you and share it powerfully out into the world. Have an amazing week, everyone, and we'll look forward to talking to you next time.
Awesome to see you, Rebecca.